I think we can slowly start if everybody's okay with that. I hope you had a good breakfast. I hope you slept well. Hope you're ready for a long day, very long day. But we'll end up in another city, one of the smallest cities here in the region, the city of Nin. Dražen will later tell you more about some housekeeping things that we need to know. So it's going to be a good day. Besides, it's going to be a long day. So thank you for coming to our local roundtable. The idea was to invite people that are interested in their careers, in their professions, that can tell you something more about the place and the region that you are now in. People with various backgrounds. I will make a short introduction, but if you want, you can also make an introduction of yourselves, because it's not only the professional identity that defines the people here at the round table, but nevertheless there is a connection with their professional identity. So today I can maybe start from this side. So today we have Šime Barić. Šime Barić is a local fisherman from this region. He will tell you interesting stories about cooperatives, about various initiatives, about problems that fishermen have at this region. Then we have Professor Ana Slišković from the University of Zadar. She's a psychologist. Then we have Professor Senija Čaušević from London, but she is locally, let's say, determined, and she will tell you more about it. And we are very honored that we have a rector. It's not very often that we have a rector at the round table. So we have a rector, but he's not only a rector, he's also a maritime geographer, and he can tell you various kinds of stories which are interesting concerning the region. So maybe I can start with the rector, although I have presented you the last. For how long are you a rector now? Please take a mic.
Greetings to all of you. I am rector only a few months, and because of that, maybe it is better to introduce me as geographer or professor of geography at the Department of Geography at our University of Zadar. And but of course, this rector experience and rector role is very important because our university is oriented on the sea. As you can see, we are a city located in the middle of eastern coast of Adriatic Sea, and that geographical position is crucial for development of different maritime activities and different experiences of local communities and of course of academic community, which is very concerned and focused on research of different aspects of blue economy, and especially related to the most important aspects of blue economy. Maybe on the first place we may position influence of blue economy in economy in general and in increasing of financial effects. And from other side, because we can consider blue economy as some kind of phenomenon with Janus face, with two sides of the same coin, we must express our concerning about impact of blue economy on coastal and marine environment. And because of that, we are some kind in a difficult position to stand with our two legs in some kind of postulates with increasing gap between them. And this is very difficult, and we must exercise some kind of scientific athletics because of that. Because we must taking in our minds, and we must be as possible objective with our approaches and with our research, and of course with our teach to young people, to our students, this importance and this complexity of blue economy.
Now, when you mentioned Janus, the Roman god, the word Janus is the origin of the word janitor, because in the Roman house, the face of the Janus was at the beginning of the house. So in that way, the university is some sort of janitor for the region, for the place, for the city. It's a cultural janitor, right? And it's a, in a way, mental janitor. Could you tell us just briefly, so how big is the university? How the university is being connected with the city, with the region? To what extent can the university be a motivator or even maybe the leader in changing social transformation that's maybe needed concerning all the issues that we are now tackling concerning climate change and all the problems that we are facing?
Okay. Well, we are a member of academic community for several centuries because we are very proud with our origin university established in Zadar in the end of 14th century. I mentioned that because in that time Zadar was very important in sea traffic mechanism, or maybe the best word is from biology, metabolism of this part of Mediterranean. And in this part of Mediterranean, Zadar had very important role as not only maritime center, but even cultural center, political center, and so of that times Dalmatia and Croatia. Now we are a modern university which has a clear idea or mission and vision that we are really one of the most important stakeholder in socio-economic system of city of Zadar and Zadar region and this part of Croatian Adriatic. We have about 700 employees. About 500 of them are teaching and research staff. And we have about 4,500 students. We had more students, but unfortunately, due to the fact that we are under big impact of depopulation, and we have less and less pupils in schools, and because of that, we have lesser students than before a few years. But we are a very dynamic community, and we have 27 departments and a few scientific centers, and a few of those departments are really very focused on different aspects of blue economy. In terms of fishing, aquaculture, then tourism, especially nautical tourism, seaborne trade and related activities. And of course, we are very focused in researching and teaching different topics related to cultural heritage, which are very connected with maritime tradition. And this maritime heritage is very important because we consider that heritage as some kind of stone or pillar element of identity of our region. And because of that, we consider that heritage not only as one of attractiveness, but we consider that as a really important way of life which define this region and this part of Croatia as some kind of a bringer of huge historical and cultural heritage, which we, I must say, must research, must interpret, and must shape as one of the main factors of not only blue economy, but even the whole society and economical system.
Thank you. You were mentioning cultural heritage, but I want to put it now within the context of tourism. Besides demographic, the population, one of the things that we are now witnessing here is development of tourism, and maybe there's a question for Senija, but also maybe for the audience. Did anybody manage to come with a train here to Zadar? Okay, there is a train connection. Oh, one person came with a train. Okay, you deserve a special badge for this. It's extremely difficult to travel with a train, and for the last 30 years in this region, although we had developed a railway network all over Yugoslavia, the time that it takes you to go with a train from one place to the other is slowing down. We didn't have any development in the train railway station system. And unfortunately, you come with the bus or with the car, but mostly lots of tourists come, and I suppose lots of you came, with a plane, with the low-budget planes. It's quite cheap now to come to Zadar. Good connections with various countries. In that way, we are aware of the ecological impact that we are leaving. So, Senija, could you put us a little bit within the context of the tourism that we are witnessing now here on the Adriatic coast? For instance, Zadar for the last, I would say maybe 5 to 10 years has developed touristically as a destination. Before that, specifically because we had the war in the 90s, Zadar was not one of the most famous. We had Istria was well developed, and you come from Istria also. Could you tell us a little bit about the perspective that you have from Istria, but also from London, on the tourism and the tourist development?
Thank you so much. There are two things I would like to say with tourism. It's like having a fire which beautifully warms up your house, but then if you just overdo it, let it go by itself, let it do whatever, you just don't take care of it, it can just burn the whole house to the ashes. And what can you do that then afterwards? So that's the same. What we can see, what is going on in certain areas with tourism as well. Like when we are all humans, and it's very short-term gains on one side, but with a long-term challenges to cope with. But on a more positive note, when it comes to tourism and travel, we have this environmental impact of planes and cars and pollution. Pollution is big, and nobody talks about this, about city councils and how much more work it needs to be done. For instance, in Barić, where I come from, we have those tunnels where all the garbage during the summer times, when we have a lot of tourists coming, and all this waste, it's recycled and it goes down through the tunnels. And during the winter times, those tunnels the garbage is removed once or twice a week. During tourism season, 5 or 6 times a day. So it just tells you how much impact it has. But on the other side, with the kind of cultural capital which the city like Zadar receives by having tourists, the knowledge, what Professor was just saying about the knowledge about the cultural capital, about social capital, about all this history which was in this area throughout the last couple of millennia, how much effect it has on motivation, on everyone who comes here and see this, for instance, okay, fine, there's too many tourists here. I need to protect it. I need to protect this. I'm going to learn something from this history. I'm going to go back home, and maybe even subconsciously, you're going to change your behavior in your settings where you come from, because you are inspired by something what you learn while you were traveling. So on one side, we have individually, we pollute when we are traveling, but on the other side, we gain so much and we really replenish our societies where we live, and we bring something better to where we come from, and then we can really plant some new roots there and get some new plants. To talk metaphorically, because of the knowledge we gain while we were traveling. And I think that Zadar can really be a prime example of that. I mean, in that sort of a point. So
maybe you can relate to another city. So one of the most famous cities on the Adriatic coast is definitely Dubrovnik. I don't know if you had the opportunity to go to Dubrovnik, but Dubrovnik, besides being famous of its cultural heritage and the way how it looks, for the last several years is very famous because some big movies were shot there, so Star Wars and Game of Thrones and some other. And we can witness when you come to Dubrovnik, you'll see on the bus station where the tourists arrive, you have signs like Star Wars excursion, Game of the Thrones, some other movies. Even the locals make fun of it, like they want to build a replica of Dubrovnik by Dubrovnik and to offer it to tourists because they can't stand anymore the number. Even a couple of years we had the people being jammed in the old city. They couldn't get out. There was too many. The cruisers came and then the police tried to, reshuffle the people and to get them out. Zadar doesn't have that kind of experience, although Zadar is increasing in the number of tourists. I think even today Venetia decided that it will charge people to enter the city. So how can you see that Zadar could have a different path than, for instance, Dubrovnik, or even Split to that matter, to be more sustainable and to preserve its identity, but also its ecological situation?
That's a beautiful question, and we could debate this even further. I remember, when this starts with the Game of Thrones in Dubrovnik and the tourist numbers, and I spoke to somebody from a tourism board of Dubrovnik, and they told me the number of tourists who came motivated simply because of the Game of Thrones was 7%. It was not that much, but the PR that the Game of Thrones and those social media stories about which came from there, and then that multiplier effect is it just went without any control, and it really indeed is something what needs to be taken care of. So the first what I would say is, with the tourists who are coming to Zadar, to be probably, I'm not sure that it's about charging them like what Venice has done, because we need to have, I'm going to actually talk, say something what is from the Bible actually. We as the humans, we have freedom. And we need to know that we have the freedom. But with that freedom, it doesn't come just like that. We also have the responsibility. So as a human society, as humans, all of us, if we are taught better about the responsibility which comes together with the freedom, I think then we solved the main problem of not just Zadar, but globally. But unfortunately, the whole debate in the UK is in this freedom of speech. Yeah, freedom of speech, great, but it comes with responsibility, what your words are bringing. So the same is with your movements. You come to Zadar, you enjoy it, but you have a responsibility to try to come with a more clean transport, and Zadar has a responsibility as well to do something to educate tourists in that sense, as that's what's actually what needs to happen. More education, more thinking, not just acting fast, but thinking about how do we do this better. Sometimes it's more about, and Zadar teaches philosophy as well, university here. So there is a bit of a point to say that as well.
We'll come back to tourism. I suppose that some of you can tell us your stories from your local communities and how your tourism is being developed. maybe we can now move a little bit towards people working at the sea and earning money out of the sea. Maybe we can start with Šime to tell us your experience, and then with Anna to give us the overall frame and to put it in a wider perspective. So Šime is what we call the local fisherman. Unfortunately, I didn't have the experience of going with Šime catching Norwegian lobster, because that's the thing that he's catching, which in Croatian language is called škampi. It's similar from Italian scampi. And the cooperative that you are trying to establish is called škampari, right? Velebit Škampions. So it's a connection between two words, champion, and scampi. Quite clever. So Šime, could you tell us a little bit more? Why did you decide, you and your guys, your friends, your colleagues, to establish a cooperative? What are your challenges? And why is international media and television so interested in your story, and they're coming from all over the world and making news segments about your thing?
Okay, hi, I'm Šime. Like Branko said, I'm a local small-scale fisherman. I fish in Velebit Channel. My targeted species is Norwegian lobster, and I fish it with traps, so no trolling, no nothing. My traps are selective tool, maybe even the most selective tool among all of the fishing tools, and this selectivity is determined by the mesh size of the trap. They don't damage the seabed, not at all, and we don't have almost none bycatch, which is really important. So we just target for one species, which is valuable for us. If you want to know more about this fishing, you can check even a video on YouTube. It's called Catch Less, Earn More. You can see a lot of interesting things there about everything. And regarding cooperative, this was not my decision. This idea was given for me from my friends from WWF Adria. They were working in Velebit Channel for a long period, and then they saw that this is a really special area where they could preserve the stock of scampi, because there is no trolling, and with our selective fishing, we can preserve the stock and fish it for the future. So this idea, I saw the possibilities immediately, and I embraced it and started looking with them for more and more fishermen that will embrace this idea and start establishing their cooperative. It was a really long period, around 2 years, to even find the minimum 7 like-minded people, because we had these rules that we made for joining the cooperative. The first rule was to release the female scampi with external eggs. This is at least that we can do to preserve the stock. So this was the first rule, and the second rule was to change the nets of our traps to bigger mesh size. So we could release even the small ones that we were catching before. We will now release them and catch them, and they grow up a little bit when they are much more valuable to us. So a lot of people saw that as a loss, because they would fish less, they have to release their catch and stuff like that. So like I said, 2 and some years to find like-minded people. In the end, there was 9 of us, but it resulted that the cooperatives had to cover really large area, and this is the biggest problem for us now, because it's hard to cover logistically this big area, and to have the great logistic, you have to have really big funds to start even that. So yeah, we have founded the cooperative, but now we have to make it in progress.
I'll try to be a geographer. Can you hear me? No? No? Probably, yes. I'll try to be a geographer and to explain what is the underdeveloped channel, right? So it's the region from Zadar, and you go towards the north, towards the city of Rijeka, but you stop somewhere by the city of Senj. So it's around 150 kilometers, if I'm right, Professor Faričić? Even more? Okay. So it's a huge area, but it's perfect for catching Norwegian lobster. And you have a problem of getting people all together and to create a distribution network, like who will, with the van and so on. You need some money, right?
Yes.
You need lots of money? Or?
My estimate is around 300,000 euros to buy 2 cars, to make some small facility where we can gather this catch, sort it, and then in the end deliver it to the customers.
Mm-hmm. Where can we get that money?
Well, to get the money, you have to function. So this is the biggest problem. We have to have money to get the money. So it's always the same in every business. So yeah, we're working on that, but so far no results.
To quote the Bible again, is the Matthew's effect, right? You need to have talents to have more talents. But you have some organizations that are trying to help you, right? Like there is an ethical cooperative established also in Zagreb that's trying to find the financial scheme. So we have a sort of support, but so far you didn't have any success. And maybe somebody at the discussion can give some advices how we'll find money for the cooperative. It's not such a big amount, I would say. Maybe some European project or something like that could be helpful. Maybe university, wink wink, could boost some donors. Right?
We have a WWF Adria that is helping us with this ethical fund, also this ethical cooperative. This year we have even a pilot project where they will fund with some small amounts only small-scale fishers. So this will be their pilot project to see how it works. After that, maybe they could get even more money from their donors and then put it into the cooperative.
And one of the problems is always, and here is a room full of social scientists that you can use during the break, because one of the problems that you have, as I understand you, is that there is around 40 to 50 or maybe 60 fishermen that catches the same as you catch. They don't have the same practices. They don't have that level of awareness that you have concerning the female and the nets and everything. And you need them together, right? You want all of them to be part of cooperative. So far it's 7 or maybe 9 of you. Okay, so there is 9 of you. It's a little bit less than 10% of the overall. And it's hard to establish a level of trust, and it's hard to persuade people to join you and to tell them, okay, we don't have any money and we need money, we don't know how to find money, but could you be part of this so far unsuccessful in terms of the financial network? What kind of help do you need in that sense? And maybe somebody from the audience can provide some advices how to get all the people together in the cooperative.
Well, the only help I would say would be to find the money to make cooperative works. Because with this thing that we do, like that we fish selectively, that we fish sustainable, I believe that this thing could raise the price of our catch. And that would make the difference between the cooperative and the rest of the fishers. And if the rest of the fishers see that we have the better price for our catch, then they will join the cooperative and they have to follow the rules of our cooperative.
Okay, we'll return to your problems and issues a little bit later. Now I'd like to hear from Anna. You're a psychologist and you're doing various kinds of research, but beside that you're doing research within the maritime occupation, right? From Yugoslavia, or this region was rather famous in terms of some shipping companies that were traveling all around the world. Even my family have like 2 cousins that were sea captains, traveling international. There is this perception, cultural perception, that sea captains and sailors and so on from this region were highly appreciated all around the world. They were traveling from Japan to America and so on. Could you tell us a little bit more about the overall frame concerning those occupations?
Okay, I will start with giving a frame of maritime shipping, as maritime shipping has always played a significant role in our history, in our economy. This is of course due to geographical position and characteristics. We have a long and highly intended coastline. I would like to share just 2 details from our history. According to archaeological data, the first depiction of ship in Europe was actually found in one cave on ceramic pot at island of Hvar. I'm from island of Hvar. I don't know, did you hear about Hvar, but you sure heard about Dubrovnik. So I would like to share with you also that Dubrovnik Republic had one of the largest fleet of ocean-going vessels in 16th century. But the real question is, where are we today? According to our data, there are around 100,000 of different kind of vessels on Adriatic registered in Croatia. But if we are talking only about maritime shipping, which is defined as transport of cargo or goods and people or passenger, We should talk about coastal shipping and overseas shipping. Regarding coastal shipping, we have more than 50 coastal shipping lines with 88 ferries, fast passenger ships connecting our islands to coast. I have to mention also nautical tourism because Croatia attracts a large number of foreign vessels every year, and our fleet for charter vessels is the largest in the world. We have 5,000 of vessels in our charter fleet. It is 40% of world charter fleet. And,
sorry, but this is for like the rich tourists coming from Austria and Germany and
yes,
sailing around the Adriatic because
yes,
it's nice to sail,
yes.
right? Okay.
But finally, the part that you asked about overseas shipping, our fleet is now very small. It consists of maybe 40 overseas shipping ships in this moment. So we the war, the privatization processes, transformation processes led to collapse of some of the largest Croatian companies. So some people would say that Croatia is no longer a maritime country because we lost our companies. But however, I would say that Croatia as a maritime country is best represented by Croatian seafarers because they are really highly valued and international maritime market because of their education, skills, and experience. Most of them work for international overseas seafaring, but we have a really big absolute and relative number. In Croatia, there are 22,000 of seafarers, and most of them work in international seafaring. Most of them are qualified officers and captains, around 14,000, and that number is on fourth place if we compare Croatia with other EU countries. But if we look relative number, because we are a country of 3.8 million of people, we are on the first place regarding qualified seafarers.
So there is still a huge interest, and as I understand, you have a high school here by the university. There are some programs also. Maybe you can also reflect on it.
Yes, yes. We have a secondary maritime school in Zadar, but we also have maritime university department. But that is not all. In Croatia, there are 8 secondary schools with maritime programs, nautical and maritime engineering. And we have 2 maritime faculties and 2 maritime university departments. All of these educational institutions are on coast, Split, Rijeka, Dubrovnik. So it is very popular in the coastal part of Croatia.
Still.
Yes.
I was thinking maybe now to include you a little bit for a segment, not just to have, oh, perfect, there is already a hand there. So if you want to chip in with your ideas, with your suggestions and your comments, I would like you to do so. So we have 2 people interested already. If you can just tell your name, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Juliana Gorica. I am a professor of sustainable tourism in University of Tirana, in Faculty of Economy, in Department of Tourism and Marketing, and some other positions related to the tourism in the region. And I would like to give some, if you accept, some tips even for university and even for the how I would suggest to develop not only the tourism but the concept of the blue economy in Zadar. Firstly, I think that tourism and education are the 2 powerful tools that you can use to remodulate the model of economy in Zadar. How? For example, all our nations in Western Balkan countries, but in countries, in Balkan countries, let's say, but in Europe, we have the same curricula in tourism, and since the blue economy is going to make challenges and very important sector for the moment, but even for the future, education should prevail. So I suggest that you should go ahead with making double degrees or joint degrees with national, national, if we mention Balkan, national other countries that have or that offer the same curricula, so to identify, to offer the same curricula for the student in order to not suffer from the depopulation, but to attract international tourists, international students to come and to study here for the blue diploma, blue economy diploma. I don't know how you can manage this. And this should be a very good starting way to attract international students and to increase the number of students. To go the second moment to tourism, you mentioned that you compare tourism in Zadar with Dubrovnik, and I think that for the moment, or from the way how tourism is developed in Dubrovnik, I think that it is not a good way, I think that it is not sustainable. It is, let's say, a little bit massive, even that can create a higher number of jobs or higher incomes, etc. But maybe you are lucky that Zadar still has not decided, or let's say has not reorganized the model of its economy. And I suggest, I think I said that I'm very sure in what I'm saying, that blue economy is not only fisheries. Blue economy is the fact that how you combine, it's a model that how you combine the main sector that are related with the fisheries, the tourism, with local governments and other agriculture and other sector to increase the number of employment in this new sector, to increase or to generate new incomes from this sector. And I think that you have to reorganize or to rethink why the people should come to Zadar, international tourists. So I would come here not only for fisheries, but I would like to taste the fish tourism. So the people who are working in fisheries should try to develop the model of attractive tourists to enjoy this experience and not to go only for marine tourism, to go with yacht or other ships, etc. So this way of traditional doing marine tourism, this is not a good way. You should combine this sector in order that tourists can enjoy or can be involved in all the experience, even fisheries. So you should make fisheries together with the student, the nation student, or together with the other tourists. So I think that rethinking blue is even a challenge even for you. And I think that this course action maybe can help even the local government. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to reflect and then to have another question? Is it okay? Can I reflect and then I'll, okay.
Okay.
If you
our university is a member of European Union University Alliance, EU Connexus, which gather 9 universities from European Union, which are focused on research and teaching about sustainable development of urban coastal areas. And we are very aware of blue economy as a very complex phenomenon composed by different economic activities and composed by different social activities, especially social interactions. We experienced in Zadar, as in the vast number of Mediterranean tourist destinations, fact that we have nothing with principle of sustainability. You mentioned example of Venice, which introduced some kind entrance fee, I think €5 for entrance in Venice. And the similar practice probably will be introduced in the most number of tourist destinations in Croatia. The situation in Zadar is similar as situation in Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik maybe is more familiar to many people, but we in Zadar already has enough tourists, enough related to carrying capacity, enough relating to capacity of communal infrastructure, enough related to number of accommodation units, especially in private sector, because we based tourism development on constantly increasing of number of tourists, number of tourist activities, and we must consider development of tourism based even on degrowth principle. It is very important because we already have more tourists than local people on many tourist destinations. And in Zadar region, we have such a situation not only in Zadar as central city in Zadar County, but in the biggest number of coastal and island settlements. Also, we must be more involved as academic community in preparing of development plans and in monitoring, because we plan the best written plans, so creative, so comprehensive, so many idealistic, but in practice we have not got monitoring of tourism, fishing, aquaculture and other activities in such way that we are getting enough quality data which are important for reshaping, not only rethinking a blue economy. And it is good that Zadar County recognized University of Zadar as some kind of neutral stakeholder, and they preparing strategy of tourism development of Zadar County for 5 years, and we are involved in preparing of such strategy. But I am afraid that we will prepare excellent or very good strategy, but what is with managing of tourist destination? What is with monitoring? And what is with implementation of principle of inclusion? Inclusion is very important because it is very related to sustainability. And we must include not only all stakeholders which are included in different touristic activities, but also local communities and also tourists, not only as persons who consume some nature or cultural attractiveness, but as people who are some kind of really practical and really involved people in some local community that they visited, and we must consider them as some kind of participants of decision making. If we include tourists as some kind of member of pool of decision making, we may include their good and bad experiences. Of course, we may consider all experiences as good because we may improve something what is wrong, and we may continue with something what is positive or what is good. And as we consider such approach to not only tourism, but fishing activities, aquaculture, seaborne trade, shipyarding, and all other blue economy activities, we may be in position to include all of them and to be more comprehensive in considering and in rethinking of blue economy as it is some kind of main topic of your gathering here. And of course, it is important from academical point of view to include not only nature scientists, not only scientists who deal with biotechnology, but to include scientists who deal with sociological, economical, and of course humanistic approach to the same reality.
Senija, I wanted to follow up, or can we have a question?
Good.
Yes.
Question is fine.
Okay, we have another one.
So thanks a lot. This was just a wonderful panel. I'm Maria Bartel. I'm professor of law at University of Amsterdam, and I work on social and solidarity economy. So I love the story of Šime, and part of what I'm interested in is, on the one hand, of course, the problems that you face in getting people together around this idea are a collective action problem. So if everybody joined, everybody would be better off. So I wonder, given that we have representatives of University of Zadar here, how far education, from the perspective of a respectable institution such as Zadar University, could help, bringing all these people together, trying to explain what is going on, why this is a good thing, and under some kind of leadership also of academic staff of University of Zadar, for instance. Would that be a help? Would that do, because it's not always just money. People, of course, have low trust in institutions for all kinds of different reasons. And, cooperatives in many different countries have failed also, but, also other kinds of firms and corporations fail. So, so the question is, can we do something not only with money, but also with this education coming from an actually recognized academic institution?
Yes.
Yes, I agree that education is more really important to this. For example, I have a bachelor degree in underwater science and technology, and in the end, I'm just a fisher. But I like that I have this knowledge, and on this university, I learned more about sustainability. But in this fishing business, I met the people that are fishers, and they are really hard to pursue them to even to come to hear the new things. It's not easy to collect those people and say, okay, I will tell you this. They will hear you, but in one ear it will go in the other goes out. So.
If you combine it with some, sorry, just a follow-up. If you combine it with the 2-day workshop, we have a lot of academic financing, and this is something that many academics who have projects such as Dražan, maybe consider financing Dražan. So, if you bring them together for 2 days, nice place, nice hotel, what politicians do that all the time, so that's how you best. So, and sometimes we also do the same. So, so really like to kind of not just make people take their time, not give them anything in return, but give them some nice time, and maybe, in the end, some of that settles.
All of that has been done in these 2 years that we were establishing cooperative. Everything that you said. So we will have meetings in some hotels, we have dinners, even have drinks and everything. Because fishers like to drink, so just to relax. But in the end, in 20 people that they were there, maybe 1 or 2 would be interested in all the story.
Yeah, it works. You hear me? Yeah. So I'm Natasha Rugilja from the Slovenian Academy of Science and Arts, and my question relates to this debate. I would like to comment on the problems regarding Škampionka. Yeah. By the way, I like the name really.
Thank you.
So I was doing research in the Northeast Adriatic among fishermen in Piran, Koper, and Izola, and I was specifically observing one. Call for projects from the European Fishing Fund. in the years, I think, 13 to 17 or something like this. And Slovenia gained 17 projects in that period. Just one was allocated to small-scale fisheries, even though the fund is targeting those professions. And I observed why this is happening, and the results were such that projects were allocated to tourism, to publishing books, to making videos about fishing, and a lot of them also to aquaculture, which is good, but there were 5 of these projects allocated to aquaculture. And then I was thinking, why is this happening? And behind these successful projects, they were good writers of the projects. So I think people who are skilled in writing projects, so that's why they gained projects. So this is also one of the solutions that university could help, or maybe you are doing this, that we could help writing projects to receive these funds for good ideas. Yeah.
I think Marko has a relating thing to add, and then we can close up.
Thank you very much. Marco Alberio from Bologna University, Italy, but I used to work on fishers in Canada for several years. So my question is a little bit at the basis, and it's about the form of cooperative. I don't know, because in Canada there's been a lot of reluctancy among fishers to buy cooperatives because of the governance model that the federal government imposed. And it was also very difficult for them to build a cooperative. So what they did in the areas that I studied is that they find a kind of a middle way. So they created, for example, the Office of Fishers, which is not a cooperative because the forms it's family enterprise, private enterprise. But they cooperate together, for example, to arrange to fix a price. So there are several forms. I'm more a sociologist, I'm not in management, but there are several forms that can be a compromise before arriving to a cooperative, because there is sometimes big barriers in fishing, in establishing a cooperative. So, for example, I can share you the experience of the Office de Pêcheurs of the city of Gaspé, which created 15 years ago, and they managed some problems like this for the price, and now they are also doing some technological shifting. For example, for the northern shrimp, they try to avoid trolls, how you call it, trolls? And to find new technologies with sounds, with very high qualified technologies. And they started from there. So they are very much against the idea of a cooperative because it's associated to the First Nations. They are in cooperative. And for ages, it was non-First Nation and First Nation that were against one of each other. So the idea of cooperative is sometimes fought. But so they are against it. But this compromise of the Office of Fishers is something that is going and indirectly towards a form of cooperative. But so it's just an idea to know if you also think about other forms. And yeah, thank you.
We have yes. Before Jose, I just want to give the opportunity for people being online because they have a question. So Sarah will read it, then we'll collect from Jose, and then we'll try to wrap up. Okay.
Thank you. So this one is from Professor Weinstein. So he has a question for the panelists. To what extent Rethink Blue economy is included in your corporation, company, authority policies and visions as well as daily practices?
Jose?
Jose Pascual from University of La Laguna in Tenerife. I just want to make a point about the fishing local action groups that have been implemented in Croatia since 2017 with the fisher organization to develop a specific project for the flags. So
and this is the first time that being from an island university, I feel so supplementary to a university like Zadar University, who have exactly the same morphology, to use the geographer's talks, who have shipping, oceanography, geography, sociology, and humanities. So this is the first time that I could say that we start thinking of blue university, the blue twinning universities. It's a very good idea. So I'm really pleased and happy to be there. Thank you.
Okay. I'll make just a short comment. A couple of years ago, I was in the States at one university, and they had like a really interdisciplinary study of sustainability. So students could learn taking soil samples and working in a laboratory, but also reading post-apocalyptic literature and market literature on economic issues, degrowth literature, and so on. So it was a huge mix, and they were standing on a point: we can't change with the same disciplines the problems that were created while those disciplines were here. We need shifting things very, very soon. Can we imagine Šime, giving a lecture at the university to students, having his own course about, especially to the students of sociology, about the problems that they're experiencing? Can we have these kind of connections? For instance, one of the most successful cooperatives in fishery is here at the island of Ugljen from 1997 already. So we have various kinds of interesting initiatives that should be brought together. So maybe if each of you can have 2 to 3 sentences of rethinking about everything that you heard from the audience, including my comment, okay? So maybe we can start in the same manner from Josip towards Šime, okay?
We are already organized many different activities related to small-scale fishing, to tourism, nautical tourism and other kinds of tourism, related to other blue economy activities. We preparing public lectures, conferences. We published books, not only hard scientific books, but also light literature with main goal of popularization of some topics, and we are very present in space, even in very small communities, island communities, coastal communities, and so. Of course, there are more other opportunities, and we will practice them. Also, we already include some practitioner in our teaching at our classes. We are very formal because official role of professors must be covered with publications, participation at scientific conferences, and so. But we as professors often include some practitioner, because for students is very important to combine theoretical approaches and practical implementation of different models, legislative and so. And related to that, of course, we will be very pleased that our colleague who finished bachelor degree studies at our university be included at some courses, not only at the Department of Ecology, Agronomy and Aquaculture, but also Department of Sociology, Geography and so on.
Sorry, just a couple of quick words. Related to this, I think it's very helpful that the University of Zadar is not that big. So it's more flexible and easy to implement the changes of appointing adjunct professors and including the colleagues from the sector. And on the other side, also, the innovation is a big word which we always use, but we just use it in order to get grants, or doesn't mean anything anymore. But what is like really, what do we mean by innovative practice? So this is again something what we need to think about. What does it take for us to be innovative? And having this triple helix between public, private, cooperative, university, and all to work together in some interdisciplinary moment. And the third point I would like to say is also about the gains and benefits. We usually focus on our gains, but the focus is on the long-term benefits which needs to be done. And this is something what there is an opportunity to do something like that with just there is no need for like a dramatic paradigm shifts, but for to tweak the changes and to make it as more valuable for the society in which we live in. And your words about we can't solve the problem the way how problem started, it just brightens so much this audience and us here.
Thank you. My main interest, research interest, is maritime psychology, well-being of seafarers. So I will use these few minutes just to say a few things about that. But I hope that we will have a chance tomorrow on our maritime occupation group meeting to talk about that in more detailed way. Maritime sector today faces with difficulties in attracting and retaining maritime workforce. Why? Because the seafaring job today is very hard, demanding, stressful, risky, and it has potential negative effects on mental and physical health. I want to remind all of us that seafarers are very important for global economy, because 90% of world trade is transported by sea. But the thing is, there is one saying in Croatia, seafarer bread is bread with 7 crusts, you know, kruh pomoraca ima 7 kora, and this is very true today. I think that one of the role of social scientists that are interested for this maritime field is to raise awareness of well-being of seafarers. The obvious problem is that managers of companies think on promoting of well-being only as cost, but actually in my opinion, promoting well-being of seafarers mean also healthier workers, happier workers, better safety, more productive workers, and at the end, this may also help to solve the shortage, because companies that think about employees are more attractive to work in. So I hope that we can talk about that tomorrow at our meeting.
Well, regarding that, what you said about me giving lectures, I'm not that much into it. I prefer more to be on my boat, but I'm glad if I can help in any way, like today, to come and to tell about my fishing and about sustainable fishing. This is the opportunity to promote this. I believe in that. I want to fish tomorrow, so yeah, let's fish sustainably.
It's not easy to be smart and interesting already at 9 o'clock in the morning, but I think that our panelists showcase that it's not the case. So if you can greet them with a warm applause. Thank you to all four. Thank you for questions from the audience. We've taken 10 minutes from the break, unfortunately, but nevertheless, we like to take breaks. So you have coffee there. I think you don't have coffee, but you have water. We'll have coffee in the next round. But try to be here in the next 10 minutes so we can start for the next poster session. So thanks once again.